Good evening. From Mumbai City, this is Amit Kamath alongside Vinayakk Mohanarangan, who's joining me from Noida as we try and recap what has been a slightly tepid day in terms of medal count. We've had three medals, all different colors, one gold, one silver, one bronze, and we've had all of them coming from different sports. The gold coming from shooting, silver coming from wushu, and the bronze coming from equestrian dressage. Uh, Vinayak, I mean, three medals, is that something now that we look down upon and say that, oh, that's a bad return for the day?
Mhm. I mean, it's not great for the mission statement that they're constantly telling us about, is bar so far. Yeah, for that, I'm guessing they need a little more than 3 a day. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, let's see. I think like we didn't actually probably miss out on too many medals today in terms of events that were there. The 10-meter air pistol, definitely in the individual, that was probably a medal missed towards the end with Sarabjot Singh finishing fourth place again.
Fourth place.
that keeps coming back to us. So yeah, that was probably one. Maybe it should have been four, I guess. But yeah, great gold in the team event again. Great because it was a very weird sort of event in the morning. It was a very low scoring event by the usual qualifying standards that these guys have in air pistol. I don't know if there was something off in the range today. Maybe if we get a chance to ask Mihir about it, we'll do that later. But it was weird because for a long time, Sarabjot was not in the fray. I mean, he started off with 295s, and then suddenly he picked up his pace, and then he started moving up the table. Where for a while in the later stages, there was no Indian shooter in the top 8 based on the average score, but India were on track for a team medal. And then last couple of series, all three of them picked up. They had really good series, and Sarabjot Singh out of nowhere came into the top 4 and top 5, and he finished 5th. And turns out that we actually ended up winning the team gold by 1 point from China. I mean, in an event where the scores are more than 1,700, 1 point. I mean, that's like as small a margin as it could get. That was a very, very crazy event to follow. And it looked like there might not be any Indian in the final. And then we had two. Sarabjot finished 5th. And Arjun Chima was in the mix throughout. And then he finished 8th. And that too on the X count was tied on score. But he sneaked in through the X count. So it was, that was a very bizarre event. And even in the final, the scores were quite low. I mean, a lot of sub-10s, sub-9s, which eventually cost Sarabjot as well a couple of sub-9s that he hit at a critical juncture, cost him, and he finished 4th. So that was the story of the gold, which was, I think, it was a very strange sort of shooting morning from the ranges. And there was another skeet event where Anandjeet was there, from the silver medalist from yesterday in the skeet men's event, but he couldn't make it to the skeet mixed team final, missed out. When 6 teams qualified, they finished 7th with Ganamath second,
which is the equivalent of a 4th place finish, right?
Equivalent of a 4th place, exactly. I mean, at least they didn't go into the bronze medal match and lose, I guess. So that's something. So that probably should have been a medal. I think the scores there were. I think Anandjeet shot quite well, but Ganamath didn't have the best of times, if I recall right. And that probably should have been a medal as well from there, given how well Anandjeet shot yesterday. It was a superb showing from him in skeet. And so that was shooting today.
Right. Moving on to something like a table tennis, because we haven't spoken about it over the last few days. And what I think stood out for me was the fact that Manika and Satyan, the mixed doubles pair, I remember when they had come together, and there was so much chatter about them being medal hopefuls for Tokyo Olympics. Now it's starting to seem as if that's slightly misplaced. I mean, I understood where that hype came from, because I think there were only 16 pairs that play. So if you win one match, you are already in the quarterfinals. If you win 2 matches, you are in the semi-final. So I understood that.
Good draw.
Yeah. But I mean, the way their results have gone, maybe, I mean, I'm not sure what is wrong. We weren't able to see the match a lot. I mean, yesterday I caught some of it, but not as much as I would like to come to an informed conclusion about what is going wrong with the pair. Maybe if we talk to both of them, we'll be able to figure out. But Vinayak, have you been able to see table tennis ball?
Not as much as I would have liked.
Yeah.
I mean, the matches have been in weirdly placed. So I think the takeaway from table tennis, at least in recent times, have been that the form has not, like in general, not just Asian Games. I think in general they have struggled a little bit because both Sharath and Satyan are outside the top 100 now. In the rankings, they were once in the top 40, right? I mean, that's quite a
Indicator.
fall. Yeah, I would like to follow table tennis a little more regularly before, like you said, making a conclusion on what is going wrong. But the results have not been as great as they would have liked. I think there was hope in the team event again. Going by what I like, the feel I got from those two was, the men's team event was again a possibility to probably sneak in a bronze. That didn't happen, and yeah, the mixed doubles, both pairs are out already, and I don't think singles is a great hope anyway in table tennis. At the Asian level, it's going to be difficult. Even if the draw is kind, I mean, you're either going to run into a Korean or a Japanese or a Chinese player before the quarterfinals, invariably. I mean, you're not going to avoid them. So I don't think we are there yet to think of a singles medal. The doubles, like you said, have been the best bet, and I think the results today weren't too hopeful. I mean, Sharath and Satyan are still there in doubles, but they're running into Fan Zhendong and Bang from China next, and that's a little too big a hurdle to cross before quarterfinals, where they would like to avoid a Chinese pair before quarterfinals. So it's not looking that great for table tennis. I think we are probably heading for no medals from there, given we had two last time in 2018. So I think there is but you're right, there is a sort of a dissection to be done on what is going on in table tennis. Maybe they need more exposure I mean, they do play a lot of these contender events, but something is off somewhere. So it's something to, I mean, we have to remember that they are coming off Birmingham, which was quite successful by any measure. I mean, Commonwealth is probably an event where they're expected to medal a lot, but they did have good success. Sharath was fantastic in Birmingham last year. Satyan ably supported him. Manika struggled, but Shrija was great, but Shrija has not had a great time in Hangzhou so far. So I think there is something to be discussed about. That's one to look out for later on.
And in fact, I think in Birmingham also, when we spoke to Shrija, she mentioned how it was Sharath basically who was kind of pulling her. Like one of the quotes that will always stay with me was Shrija telling me that, when he makes a mistake, he says sorry. When I make a mistake, he still says sorry to me. So,
I
I mean,
remember that.
that's such a great thing to have, an attribute to have in a 40-year-old veteran who's seen his fair share of Olympics and Asian Games and Birmingham Commonwealth Games, and still, reaching down to the level of somebody who's maybe apprehensive of, even speaking out to you and just making them comfortable. What a sweet gesture! And I mean, and that's one of the things at Hangzhou. Sharath and Shrija are not a mixed doubles pair. So
Sharath has actually stopped playing mixed doubles.
Correct,
He
right.
had said that I think it was the end of last year. I think his body is not, I don't think it's able to handle 3 events anymore. It's just too rigorous. And I remember a day in Birmingham when he had to play, I think 4 or 5 matches in a day across the 3 disciplines. It was, I mean, he had prepared so well for Birmingham, so he was able to handle that. But I think we have to respect his body as well. So he's not playing mixed doubles anymore. It's Harmeet and Harmeet, Satyan, Manika, Shrija. These it's time for them to take over from Sharath. So I think in terms of where they're heading towards Paris, they've always said that Paris is a medal chance. I mean, recently, every time I've spoken to them, they insist that they have a chance if draws are good and if the form is good, they have chances to get a medal in Paris. But I think it's time to take stock probably post Hangzhou and see where they stand. Be interesting to speak to them about that for sure.
But I mean, we'll obviously have these conversations about table tennis and sports like table tennis a lot more. But I think today we should give our flowers to a sport like wushu, and especially Roshibina Devi Nauram. I mean, I know she must be a little disappointed. She sounded a little disappointed because she lost in the final. But I mean, it's a silver medal, and it's still a one medal better than what she did at Jakarta, which was a bronze. An incredible medal, right?
And quite a story too. From Manipur. Obviously, we know what's going on in Manipur, and she's been able to kind of fight through all that internally. There is a piece I think Mihir has written, which you should check it out on the website, on what she said about not being able to talk to their parents, feeling that things are not well there, and wanting to go there, and all those sort of emotions, and the coaches like trying to limit how much she speaks to her family back home so that she's not distressed during training. There's a lot of things going on in the background there, and she also mentioned not having. I think Sony said that she spoke about not having the Arunachal contingent from Wushu because of the visa issues. Not having her friends with her in Hangzhou. So yeah, a very, very creditable medal. I mean, she should be proud of what she achieved, given everything that she's gone through. I don't obviously I mean, it's not my forte, but I could make out from the second round that she was actually quite competitive. She had a throwdown on a Chinese opponent. I mean, China is obviously going to be favorites in all of these, combat events, but she competed really well, and she didn't sound disappointed to lose out. And next, Amit, I'll throw the floor to you for equestrian dressage, another historic first for Anush Agarwala.
Yeah, and I mean, what a setting, right? I mean, there are those mist rolling in over the mountains in the backdrop, an Indian competing, Jai Ho playing, punctuated by what song was that? Another movie song. So it was like a montage of Bollywood. That is Amit, exactly. So it was a montage of Bollywood songs. You know, just the not the lyrics, but the music playing, and an Indian who's in perfect sync with his horse. And how often do we get to say that? And especially, I mean, just I think 5 or maybe 10 or 15 minutes before Anush Agarwala entered, the competition arena, we saw how unpredictable this partnership, how tenuous this partnership between a man and his steed can be, because Hriday Cheda was also Anush's teammate in the gold medal winning team at Dressage. He absolutely could not control his horse. He had difficulty controlling the horse. Uh, if they had managed to, compete and finish their set without being disqualified, I'm pretty sure they would have gotten a time penalty, because they entered the ring easily a minute after the bell had gone. And once they did, I mean, they were stopped because there was some blood spotted on the leg of the horse, uh, which results in immediate disqualification. So heartbreak and elation side by side for the two Indians who shared a podium spot. And also, what was most interesting for me is that I realized that you know everybody who wins a medal gets to stand on the podium. Horses don't stand on the podium. But what the equestrian events do is they have like a nice little tradition of sorts. They will have all these horses walk through a lap of honor, if you will, which is pretty nice. I think that you could do for pretty much all sports, and people should watch that.
Right. Right. So that's the three medals, the story of the three medals of the day. Quickly, there were quite a few
Vinayakk,
medals assured
yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah, and plenty of you wanted to talk about the medals that we've kind of assured going ahead. Not something in the bank right now, but then still something in saved.
Yeah,
You just talk.
the men's doubles tennis was already assured with them, Ramkumar and Saket reaching the semifinals. They went one step further to reach the final. Men's doubles in tennis is a event where we have a tradition at the Asian Games. Leander Paes, Mahesh Bhupati in the past, Rohan Bopanna and Divid Sharan last time around. I was checking the stats, and every time since the turn of the century at the Asian Games, the Indian men's doubles pair have featured in a final, and they've won all but one of the gold medals. So it's a tradition that they had to keep up, especially after Rohan Bopanna's loss earlier in the tournament in men's doubles. So yeah, it was a very nervy affair against Korea. They struggled in the second set to close things out, had a break up, then got broken back, and then had another chance to break back again, missed that, went to a tiebreaker, had match point, squandered that. And after all that, losing the second set, and then they just came out firing in the super tiebreak to win it 10-0 without giving the Koreans a chance. So that was an important win, I think, with tennis not exactly having a great time in Hangzhou, the tennis players. So they are assured a place in the final, and they'll be looking to make it a gold medal. That'll be another one to look out for tomorrow. Squash, couple of medals assured. It's with the format being such that team event, there are multiple teams in a pool, and top two go to the semifinals. And if you are in the semifinals, you're assured a medal. Both the men and women have made sure that they'll finish in the top two, despite losses. India, Pakistan, the men lost yesterday. India, Malaysia, the women lost today morning. But that meant they're finishing second, and they are through to the semifinals, and they are assured a medal. So now it's over to them to see if they can make it a better one than bronze. That, and I think one thing to also speak about was a defeat for Deepak Boria, one of the medal hopefuls before the campaign began in boxing, the World Championships bronze medalist. He had a tough defeat against a former world champion. The draws have not been kind to many boxers in Hangzhou. And it was a very, very tough bout. I mean, that's the kind of bout that makes you wonder, how the hell boxing scoring works. He was tied on two judges' scorecard in the end, and it was preferred to the Japanese boxer, so he had to lose in the end. So those were some important results to note from today. And just one thing in the end, the football team lost against Saudi Arabia 2-0. Their campaign is over. Sunil Chetri and co are done with their campaign. And the Indian hockey team defeated 2018 gold medalists Japan in a good match, actually. They led 4-0, but just last couple of minutes, lapse of concentration, and ended up conceding 2 goals. So something to work on for them. So that was 4-2 for India against Japan. So that was another notable result.
But I think that is what happened in 2018 also, right? They were in the group stages, pitted against Japan, ended up beating them in the final, meet Japan again, and then have that heartbreak of a defeat.
That was in the semi-final. They lost to Malaysia last time around. Sorry. So yeah, that was it was a very similar sort of story though. Conceding late, and the complacency is something that they need to guard for. So it was a good pointer for them in terms of watch out for late goals. So yeah, that was a pointer for them from today. And they take on Pakistan next. It's always India-Pakistan hockey is a match to look forward to. So that's next.
Absolutely. Well, that's. I mean, tomorrow we have a lot to look forward to because the athletics event begin tomorrow. And well, I'm still very confused why people think athletics is one sport, because it is not. I mean, if you put like a steeplechaser next to a discus thrower, you will know how different those two sports are.
Right.
So I mean that starts tomorrow. The Indian chess teams begin their campaign to wrest back the gold medals from the clutches of the Chinese with their litany of world champions. So those are the two things that we've still not had and which will be new from tomorrow. Anything else to look forward to, Vinayakk, besides what?
There's also badminton. Badminton gets into the quarterfinal stages tomorrow. Like I think we mentioned yesterday. I'm not sure if it was here or in the Twitter spaces that we do last night. But yeah, so the women's team will take on Thailand in the quarterfinal, and the men's team will take on Nepal in their quarterfinal. So a win there assures a medal for both of them. The men's team have been very, 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 very lucky with their draw. It could have been any number of tough opponents in the quarterfinal. It could have been Korea, it could have been Japan, it could have been Chinese Taipei, and they just got the easiest possible opponent. And I mean, no disrespect to Nepal, but that's not the toughest opponent there is going to be at a team event. So they win that, and they assure a medal. The first medal since 1986, if I'm not wrong. I'll double check that, but first medal in a long time in the team event. But they'll have hopes of going further than that. So those two matches are definitely. And the women team take on Thailand. I'm not sure if it's 50-50, maybe 70-30 in favor of Thailand. Sindhu will have to start well against Cho Chuang, and the doubles pairing of Trisa and Gayatri will have to come up with a big win in the second fixture in the doubles. But if they do, I think there is an outside chance of a team event medal too there. But yeah, that's probably a long shot at this point of time. So yeah, lots to look forward to tomorrow. Early start with a race walk as well. So yeah, I think overshot our time as well today discussing about everything, and that's kind of where we are heading to over the next few days.
We have a massive day coming up tomorrow, starting with the race walkers, but we will not be race walking. We'll be like speeding past events one after the other. Okay, so that's all the
Yep,
time
yep.
we have for today. This is me, Amit Kamath, alongside Vinayakk, saying goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. We hope to see you again tomorrow. We also do a Twitter space. We also, obviously, some of our best stories make it to the newspaper. And we have a live blog running from 6 a.m. in the morning usually, and it goes on till 9 o'clock in the night. So you should consider checking all of that out. Some of the best sports writers in the business are our colleagues. We can say that very proudly, and you should check them out. Well, thank you so much for listening in. Goodbye.